Hello, this is Beverly with the Intuitive Interior, and it is April 2022, April 5th, the very first day of the Yang Wood Dragon month. So dragon is always associated with the month of April. And if you think about April, they always say April showers brings May flowers. Well, the very first card that I drew was the 100% water card in the I Ching. This is number 29. And as you can see here, we've got these two trigrams. They are both the Kan trigram. They both are water elements. When you see both of these, you see both of them together, it is signaling time to go inside, time to rest, time to kind of like take a step back and take a break. In my deck, it is called the Abysmal, which always sounds a little harsh. But if you look online for card number 29, it is often referred to simply as water, because it's water. Anyway, some of the words that are associated with this are flexibility, rejuvenate, re-energized, resting, but also here on this card specifically, it really highlights the kind of the challenging aspect of water. You notice that the symbol is this big waterfall and splashing right into this big deep pool. This can feel really refreshing, just like, rejuvenating. It's like a shower. But it can also bring up danger, insecurity, overwhelm, unpredictability, hazardous conditions, dark emotions, facing fear, and courage. Because when you have the courage to face your fears, you really can completely rejuvenate yourself and re-energize yourself. I mean, everybody's had that moment where you've done that hard thing, you've done the scary piece, and you feel fabulous because you conquered your fears. Now, the focus line this time is line number 6. This is typically not a favorable one because it's got the, here, I'll just show you again. You look at the very top line, they count from the bottom to the top. The top line is broken. So when the focus line is one of the broken lines, that means that it's an external force that's coming your way. It says, one of the mind's favorite activities is to set up a nonstop series of dramatic twists and turns in every effort to divert the energy away from tuning in, turning in, and taking responsibility for actions that have not been effective in dissolving your problems. Every step out of turmoil begins from within. If you have not been there lately, it's time for a visit. So that kind of gives you the feel that for the month of April, a lot of people are going to be smacked upside the head with the realization that everything they've been trying to blame on other people, whether it's your boss, your coworkers, your politicians, or the other team's politicians, or the other country, y'all need to take a look inside. Again, this is grounding. Now, again, in feng shui with the 5 elements, water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. What the immediate thing that drains the water is trees. So get focused, get grounded. Also, earth dams up that water. Earth, you throw a bunch of rocks on top of a waterfall, it is going to stop flowing. That is what you have actually a dam for. That's a whole bunch of concrete, which is a whole bunch of earth. So you bring in the combination of that grounding, the earth energy, as well as you bring in the focus energy, that tree that's going to, so all that extra water can nourish that tree, nourish that courage. But you cannot go into any kind of stressful situation, all panicky and just scattered. You will either rush in silly, foolishly and make bad decisions, or you'll run away. And we don't need anybody being foolish or running away right now. We all need to figure out where we stand inside, be grounded, plant our flag, if you will, for whatever the topic is that you're concerned with, and just get focused and get an alignment. The next card that I drew was number 23. Now in my deck, it's called Splitting Apart. And if you look online, you can find number 23 is listed as peel, like peel a banana, peel an onion, peel an orange, peel the sunburn skin off if you've been out in the sun already too much. But the peel words are perseverance, retrace, and breakthrough. The cards here on my deck, if you look, it's kind of like a bunch of rocks and things that are just like soil that's too dry, that's broken, the cracks that are there. The words here are impermanence, collapse, deterioration, separation, let go, surrender, eliminate the old, and death. Again, all those sound really scary. The trigram here on the bottom is the kun, which is a yin earth trigram. And then on the top here, that's gun. That is the yang earth trigram. So we've got the yin earth, which is all about the emotions, the feelings, how are you responding internally to this? But yang earth, it's almost like a stop energy. It's okay, we need to take a break, figure out why are we doing things? What is the emotions behind it? Are you taking logical actions, or are you just being drawn by feelings and by emotions? That's if you in the month of April, again, that think about the tree always, that mighty oak always starts with that little acorn. But in order for that acorn to become the tree, it has to split apart. It has to break itself open. So when I see this card coming up, that means for this month, you will likely see some of the long-held belief systems, long-held social constructs and contracts starting to fray, starting to split apart, because it's time for rejuvenation. It's time for some of these seeds that have been planted to actually grow. That also means, though, that it means that things are going to change. Things are not going to necessarily change the way that you want them to. And so in order to address that anxiety, because I'm not going to lie, there has been a ton of free-floating anxiety that has been impacting me, impacting my clients. You can see it in the news. There's a lot to be anxious about. There's a lot of not so good things happening out there. And there's also a lot of really great things that are happening, because when there is that need for, that chaos that's happening out there, when there's a decision that is made that is not of your making, if there's like something that's coming from you from the outside, we have that opportunity to step up. That's again going back to the previous card. It's like, okay, where's the courage? That's where heroes and heroines are made. When you see a need, you step up, you open your home, you take somebody food, you knit, you sew masks, you knit hats, you do whatever you can do to step up and change and help others deal with that change. Now, this particular line item is number 2. And again, if you look at number 2, that is 1, 2, there's another broken line, which means external forces coming at you. So this is less of an internal decision and more of a reaction to what is happening on the outside. This one is you're feeling more and more isolated. Yet those who are close, those who are close are unable or unwilling to be supportive. Don't act out of fear or neediness. It is far wiser to adjust to loneliness than to surround yourself with inferior choices. Refrain from doubting or negative thinking. Stay neutral and suspend inner judgment, as they simply add more weight to an already cumbersome situation. Too many people are at their limit. They have reached the expansion of their bandwidth. It does not go any farther. And when that happens, people can sometimes become rude. They can become dismissive. They can sometimes even become cruel because they're just they've lost that space, that little space between survival and thriving. Surviving and thriving. That's a big, that's that it can snap like that. This admonition, with the fact that this card is coming up again with that perseverance and the retrace and the breakthrough that comes from some of the other information that I've got on this, it is really wanting people to look at data points. Try really hard not to distill everything down into good or bad, black or white, holy or evil. Try your best to take a look at whatever's going on as a data point, not as an indictment. I like to say that, it's things that happen to you, the situations that are going on around you, use them as data points and not as indictments. Just because a certain policy may be enacted with the politics of the day, or something is happening at work, look at it as a data point and do your best not to assign good or bad or evil intentions or not, because nobody really knows what's going to happen down the road with all of this stuff. Of course, everybody, I'm, I guess, a little bit of a Pollyanna, because I truly believe that for the most part, people are really, they're taking actions because in their heart, they believe that that is in the best interest for the people that they're working on behalf of. I might get shot down in the comments here, but I honestly believe that in his mind, Vladimir Putin is doing exactly what he feels is best for Russia. Now, obviously, the Ukrainian people disagree. Many people in this country also disagree. I personally disagree, but I can also see that there is that way that that person, he's figured out in his mind that this is the best way to reach the goals that that he's decided are important. There's that faulty thinking. Sometimes faulty thinking is faulty thinking. And so anyway, I'm kind of digressing. But that's, again, part of that splitting apart. There's going to be the good, the bad, the faction that is pro, the faction that is con. If by really noticing that you might actually start to see that how I have been acting is what I have been believing hasn't actually been based in reality. It hasn't been based in truth. It hasn't even been based in my best, what is best for my community. And when a person makes a dramatic turn, where they turn left instead of right, or vice versa, the people that had stock in them maintaining that particular direction, they're not going to be happy. That's what this is talking about. You may find that you have to be lonely for a little bit. And that's okay, because you don't need to be around as they said, inferior ideas or inferior, not even inferior, lower vibration. You're no longer a match to the way it was before. Okay, so the last card is a little bit nicer. This is called peace. If you look here at this hexagram, it is Chan on the bottom, that is yang metal. And then on the top is Kun, that is yin earth. So again, we've got this yang metal on the bottom here. Yang metal is creation. It is, coming up with something new, birthing new projects. And then the top is the feeling trigram again. Looking up number 11 online, you'll see that it corresponds usually with a term called unity. And those words are smoothness, rewarding, flourishing, and acceptance. I'm sorry, I just have to show you that picture again. The beautiful still lake with a nice mountain right next to it. It's a very auspicious combination because you've got the protection of the mountain with the calmness of that water. So the words on my card say harmony, balance, perfection, equipoise, love that word, a sense of well-being, favorable conditions, and expansion. Now this focus line is number 5. So it's again that broken line. That means it's coming from the outside. So there will be some calming energy that's happening now. This right here says, line 5 says, a harmonious union is brought about when the stronger is self-sacrificing and modest in approaching the weaker. Competition and comparison should be avoided at all costs. Although there may be a gap between you and another, don't let it become a chasm by fostering an attitude of superiority. So you remember how just a little bit ago I was talking about how sometimes things are not necessarily a vibrational match? In the past, when I first began exploring my intuitive nature and all the things that energy can open your eyes to, the phrasing was that, well, I'm beyond now. I've elevated beyond so and so. I've transcended these old beliefs, as if that made me or whoever else was saying this better than. It's like when you're playing piano. And you have a nice chord, you can be at a different octave, you can be at a different sound. It all works together to create the harmony that we all crave, to create that balance, to create that peace. Without some of the different tones, we'd all be single note people. We'd have a single note society, and what fun is that? It's not. But that doesn't mean that the higher notes are any better or any worse than the lower notes. It's all about creating that harmony. The thing that is important right now, that when you can feel those moments of peace, understand that you should treasure those, because it won't last forever. It is a continuum. There is always going to be motion. Again, going back to that still pond here, there has to be motion, even if it's just subtle, for that water to stay clear. Think about the life that's underneath, that's swimming around. Think about how the wind moves the water around. There has to be some movement, or else it turns into a stagnant, gross mess. And that's what happens when we become complacent about what's happening. We become lazy about looking around to see how are we able to still bring more of the experience that life has to offer for us. And we bring that balance. So this card to me really signifies hope that perhaps somehow in April, there will be some balance brought in to balance all these extremes. We've got a lot of extremes lately. And I hope we can find that middle ground. If we can all start to move towards the middle, that means the left, on the left side, we need to bring more of that understanding that there really are rules. And we do need to actually agree that sometimes we can't just be, loosey-goosey and everybody goes, for themselves. But on the right, you have to also understand that it's not all rigid. There are gray zones. And just because you don't want to do something doesn't mean that everybody else has to agree with you. So when we can bring that together, then we truly can achieve that peace. All right, so that is what I see happening for the month of April. If you'd like to have a reading of your own, send me a message. You can find my link in the notes. You can also talk to me about feng shui. You can talk to me about any other kind of energy healing or intuitive coaching, because it's all kind of works together. I don't always talk too much about it, but for this month, again, trying to find that peace, trying to find that middle ground. It's time. It's time. You've been thinking about it. If you've been thinking about it, now's the time to go for it. All right. Enjoy your dragon month of focus, of growth, and where you can start to see the big picture a little bit more. All right. Thanks so much. And you have a wonderful month.